Kira, are you listening? Now you've done it. This is what happens to little girls who refuse to play along. That was terrible.
But I didn't do anything wrong! No, you're not there. I'm alone. Leave me alone!
I've got a present for you. Your old friend. Pick it up. Go ahead. Pick it up. Pick it up.
Shut up! I'm not afraid of you!
You should be.
You're not real. There's nothing wrong with me! There's nothing wrong with me! There's nothing wrong with me.
Welcome to the Blind Rage Podcast. This is Brandon Ford.
And hi, this is Tony the Tiger, the Thunder from Down Under.
You couldn't think of something, could you?
I could, but I wasn't going to say it, so like it's just stuck in my head now.
You were going to say I'm yours, weren't you?
No, I always like think of French and Saunders doing, "Hi, I'm Elijah Minnelli."
That's not even funny or clever.
Just how she delivers it.
No. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, this is the Blind Rage Podcast, and this is a special episode for me because this is one of my favorite horror movies, I think, of all time. And when I think of underrated horror movies of the 90s, I think of this, and I think of Strangeland. I think those are the most underrated, two most underrated horror movies of the 90s. And funnily enough, they were about a year apart from each other.
Now,
when everybody was making Scream shit.
Now, Strangeland, is that the one about the torture?
Yes,
sort of like a Clockwork Orange remake.
Only sexier.
See, I hear more of that one than I do of this one that we're about to do.
Yeah, this is an obscure one. And I didn't say the title yet. We're doing Kolobos from 1999. So, which Tony has never seen before.
No.
Yeah. No.
Well, I've seen it to talk about it.
Yes, you have. But before we get into that, I'm going to get the usual plugs out of the way quickly. So, I would like to encourage everybody to please check out my books on Amazon.com and Kindle paperback and hardcover editions by typing in Brandon Ford into the search engine. You will also find my author page, which you can subscribe to in order to receive email notifications whenever I have a new release. I also have about a dozen titles in audiobook format, which you can find on Audible by typing in Brandon Ford. If you don't already, please follow me on Instagram at writer Brandon Ford. You can follow me on both Twitter and Facebook. No, hold on. Twitter and Letterboxd. You know, I got caught up there because I was thinking about the YouTube channel.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, yes, Twitter and Letterboxd, Brandon Ford. You could also follow Tony on Letterboxd at Tony_the_bear. Yes, there is a Blind Rage Podcast YouTube channel which you can subscribe to. I don't know how to change the link, so just type in the Blind Rage Podcast in YouTube if you want to find it. What else do I have? If you have any questions, comments, concerns, critiques, suggestions, recommendations, please feel free to email me directly at blindragepod81@gmail.com. please don't forget to visit the official Blind Rage Podcast Facebook page to like and subscribe. Last and most importantly, please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the Blind Rage Podcast on your preferred podcasting platform. And hopefully one of these years, Tony will get an Instagram again. So that he can help promote the goddamn
you to hell! Now I have a question.
Gonna make you eat the cookie. What?
Do you smell burnt toast?
First of all, you've asked me that innumerable times.
I just like to make sure you're okay.
I get flustered at times.
It's my accent.
Especially when I know when you're silently judging me on the other side of the world.
I'm like Frank T.J. Mackey.
I don't know who that is, but yes. So, before we get into the movie, let's get into current views, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we shall. What have you been watching lately? Anything noteworthy?
Well, I rewatched a movie that I quite like by David Cronenberg called A History of Violence. Have you ever seen that one?
I have not, but trivia about that was the last major movie to be released on VHS.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, so I enjoyed that one. It's I like David's use of gore. He it's not so much there is an element of shock value, but it's also an element of showing how violent violence can be. And I enjoy the story. I was surprised that I think it's William Hurt, or the actor towards the end, got an Oscar nomination or something, and he seemed very unworthy of the acclaim. In my opinion, it was fine, but it was just a bit weird. And the other movie I watched was one that I quite liked, called Belfast, which is the last movie by Kenneth Branagh, and it just looks at his childhood and growing up in Northern Ireland during the Troubles. And it got me.
Is that a new one?
Yeah, so I think it's 2021 or 22. Like it won the last year's Oscar for original screenplay. Yeah, it sort of hit a bit close.
That's reason enough for me not to watch it.
Well,
it hit you close to home.
No, well, a few of my cousins were killed during the Croatian war with the the Orthodox versus the Catholics versus the Muslims, and the land as well. So it was a bit sad to see, but it was also nice. It's a very hopeful movie, so I'd give it a go. And what have you been watching?
I watched a movie called Dread, which I don't think I'd heard of.
It's not.
And I believe it's...
Sorry, you go.
What? I believe it's from 2009. And it's about this college kid who is taking, I don't know, some kind of psychology course, and he wants to do a thesis on people's personal fears, and that kind of goes astray. But I heard about it because as I said when we were talking off mic, I watch a lot of top 10 lists on YouTube, and there's a girl in Australia, her name's Emma, and she does a lot of them, and she does a lot of horror reviews and stuff, and she did a top 10 list of I think it was called horror movies that horror movies that are fates worse than death or something like that. So it was a list of movies that have scenes where the character suffers something that is worse than just simply being killed off. So like she talked about like the splinter in the eye scene in Zombie and things like that. So there was a scene that she talked about in Dread that I was kind of like, ugh, that's kind of fucked up. I should probably watch that. Unfortunately, it's the last fucking scene in the movie. And it's a lot of build up to not much. And I kept spacing out because it was just a lot of talky and not a lot of story. So it wasn't terrible, but I don't see myself revisiting it. So yeah, there's that. And there was another movie I watched. One of those movies that was so fucking bad that it made me angry. And it was called Separation. And I believe it was from 2018 or 2019. And there's an English actor in it named Rupert Friend. Never heard of him. I never heard of anybody in this movie. The only actor I knew in the movie was Brian Cox. But yes, so the movie starts out, you think it's going to be like, oh, it's one of these freaky little kid movies. No. Oh, you think it's going to be like a killer doll puppet movie. No. Then it turns into Kramer versus Kramer because the parents get divorced and there's a custody battle over the little girl. And then it turns into the Babadook because there's this freaky monster that pops up out of nowhere and is like hovering over the kid and wreaking havoc in the house. So it was like, okay, you took your Babadook pill this morning, you took your Kramer versus Kramer pill, you took your Sixth Sense pill. What other movies have you ripped off for this? Because it was so derivative of fucking everything. And there's a twist toward the very end which you could tell clearly they just pulled out of their ass at the last minute because it comes out of nowhere, has no effect on the story whatsoever. And it's not like, ooh, I didn't see that coming. No, you wouldn't see it coming because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
That's not a good twist. A good twist is when you can rewatch a movie and pick up on the hints. But if
yes, like High Tension.
Yes.
But no, there's nothing that suggests any of it. And yeah, so it was bad. It was bad. And as I've said before, generally whenever I have such a strong distaste for a movie, I go to Wikipedia to see, like, you know, what the general consensus is or what the Rotten Tomatoes score is. And I'm happy to see that I am not alone because it was not reviewed favorably by anybody and has an approval rating of like 10%.
Yes, I saw your review of that and I looked it up and I saw that, like, I think the best score it got was like 3 stars out of 10.
Yeah, it sucked the ass.
Sucked balls like
and
chocolate
the
covered.
life. It sucked the life out of me until I was a hollow shell. I was drained after this monstrosity.
Until Cindy was up on the ceiling.
There was some kind of fucking creature that was crawling all over the ceiling like the Slender Man. It was kind of like the Slender Man or the fucking...
Empty Man.
I think it was the Slender Man. No. Did you just say Candy Man?
No, the Empty Man.
I don't know. But his head was twisting the wrong way and going upside down. It kind of reminded me of the monster in the Scary Stories Tell in the Dark adaptation. In addition to being similar to the Babadook.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to talk about this anymore because
Where on the doll did the movie hurt you?
In the sphincter.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Shall we go from one of your least favorites to your actual favorites?
Oh yes, yes. So yeah, we're gonna watch Kolobos, which I am willing to bet is probably on Prime Video, because I don't know if it still is, but for a while it was on Tubi. And if it's on Tubi, then it's probably on Prime. So if you want to watch along, feel free to do so. Alright, so we are going to begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Alright, now you may, if you are, well, I wouldn't say that I am, because I didn't really even pick up on it the first time I saw it. But if you are an Argento aficionado,
I was going to ask this straight away.
or a fan of Italian cinema, you may notice that there are a lot of similarities to Italian films, and there is also there's a very strong similarity to this Goblin score that Goblin did for a lot of Argento movies, and that was all intentional because they were paying homage. Because the thing was, Todd Osberg and Daniel You make him sound Russian. He's Swiss.
Yeah.
So Peter's from Hawaii. Todd.
Yeah.
Todd is from Hawaii. Daniel is from Switzerland, and they met at film school in USC, and they bonded immediately. Well, not immediately, because they were the only two students in this film class talking about these Italian movies, because nobody else had ever heard of them. So they formed a bond and, started talking about these movies, and that's how their friendship was born. And then when they decided to make a movie, they wanted to pay homage to all of the movies that they grew up watching and loving, and that's how Kolobos was born. Partially. But originally it was actually born out of a comment that Daniel made once, because this was around the time that the real world was pretty big, and he hated the fucking show. In particular, I don't remember which season it was. Flora, I guess she was the bitch that season, and he said, "Why does somebody just lock all these people in the house and just kill them off?" And because they were all pretty unlikable that season. So that's where the script was concepted. The seed that planted the seed, and then there was a script that was written called Trapped that was very different and very ambitious, and there were going to be, it's similar to the movie, but it's also a lot more complex in that there were, there were traps, but there were also puzzles and things that the characters had to solve. So it was very Saw-esque,
like
before Saw. And so they couldn't do that. And then Daniel, I think it was Daniel. Daniel was at the San Diego Zoo, and he was looking at the monkeys, and he came across the Kolobos monkey, which is a monkey that has no thumbs.
Okay.
And because it has no thumbs, it is a lot it's faster and more agile and can swing from tree to tree faster than any other monkey. So he got the idea of incorporating, because it was like mutilated, and that's how, through evolution or something, I don't know. I'm not a fucking
Anthropologist.
I'm not anthropologist. But yeah, so he wanted to incorporate mutilation as something of a positive thing. Mutilation could make something better. So that's what, when you see the killer, Faceless, he thinks he's improving upon himself by cutting his face off. So that's where that came from. But there was a bit of creative differences between Todd and Daniel, and Todd was like, nobody's gonna know what that means. But Daniel was insistent, and so they went ahead with it. And for the longest time, I thought they just made it up. I was like, this is just a word they made up. There's no such thing as Kolobos anything. And I found out what it was because there wasn't much out there about the movie when the Arrow put out their special edition of the movie. There's also something else I wanted to say. Shit. Where was I?
Talking about the origin, the word Kolobos, and how. Are we talking about him cutting off his face and how Todd didn't agree with Daniel?
Cutting off the face, yes.
That people would get the reference.
People wouldn't get it. No. Yes. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, yes.
Well, what I was just going to say is going back to you were reminding me of something that David Cronenberg does a lot, in that he likes to look at evolution through science, and and even in that movie Crash, where you had like Rosanna Arquette's character mutilating herself with like steel reinforcement to sort of start evolving into like a motor vehicle almost.
Speaking of which, I heard about a French film last night where there's a woman who gives birth to a car.
Okay.
And like she's bleeding motor oil and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
I always remember.
Is this a real movie?
There was a movie that I saw on SBS when I was very young, but sort of like so pubescent, and it was like it was new at the time, but it was in black and white, and it was about this film director or this actor or something. But in one scene, he has to sort of supplement some money, and so he agrees to do like a bit of porn, and the other actor was going to use some motor oil to grease him up, but then he ended up leaving because he was too uncomfortable.
What movie was this?
I don't remember the name, and I don't really remember enough of it to sort of look up words that might remind me of it. I remember one scene he was talking to his mum about watching the new Jaws movie, so it was sort of set a bit earlier than what it was filmed, but that's as much as I remember.
I know what I was going to say. I told this story before on the podcast. This because I think it's one of the biggest fuck yous to the MPAA, and I always loved it. But this, because this is the actual movie that it's about, I'm going to tell it again. So they found, I don't know, whatever it's called, someone who finds you a distributor. They take on your movie and they say, okay, we're going to get it sold. So they sold it to York Entertainment, and they were under contract to deliver an R. So they submitted it to an MPA to the MPAA. MPAA said this has got to get cut. This has got to get cut because you got an NC-17. And they were like, okay, cool, we'll do that. So they cut it, and then they pulled a switcheroo and submitted the NC-17 version to York. So this is the NC-17 version, although on the box and everywhere else it says it's R.
Okay.
But they cut it only for the MPAA and for the benefit of York, and then released it uncut. I like that. I like it.
You like it a lot.
I do. In the commentary, they were talking about how
Sorry?
this particular joke here. I said in the commentary, they were talking about how this particular joke here wouldn't fly today, but I don't really think it's that offensive. But then again, I'm not trans, and neither is she. But so I guess I really can't.
Yeah, it's something that I can't speak weighing on.
I mean, he's a little uncomfortable. I mean, he doesn't say anything nasty.
Yeah. He pleasantly
Sure.
leaves.
Yeah. And she was perfectly fine doing that. She thought it was funny.
Yeah.
The actress.
See, I thought the character was actually saying it as a joke.
Well, when she says female impersonator, she brings her voice down
Yeah,
a bit,
yeah.
a couple of octaves. Now, here you see both Peter and Daniel. Why do I keep saying Peter? Todd.
Well, it's Todd's. That's his middle name. So it's
Is it?
David Todd. Ockvirk or so.
Osverk. Well, Todd is the real jacked one with the tank top.
Oh, the one mooning.
The one mooning. And Daniel is the one right
Yeah,
behind his head. But he takes his towel off and was going to show, and was supposed to show his ass too, but what's his name's head blocked it. And Todd said that he was pulling his pants down really slowly because what's his face? I can't remember his name. He missed.
Is it Tom?
No,
or Gary?
Tom's the comedian.
Gary.
Gary, I think, was supposed to close the door sooner, or either he didn't know when Gary was going to close the door,
Yeah.
so he didn't want to pull his pants down all the way. So yeah, he was just kind of.
Should have done it for your art.
Yeah, I wouldn't have
Didn't
minded.
ask for your art.
So I don't know if you noticed this. I didn't, but I remember my ex who watched this with me on DVD did. But during the close-ups, Amy Weber, who plays Kira, she's got her contacts in.
Oh, okay. No.
And they did not. She was not supposed to do that.
Her reading contacts. Okay.
Yes. So what originally sold me on this was I saw it when it first came out on video. Because I've spoken about Movies Unlimited before in my solo commentaries, but I used to get their seasonal catalogs, and they used to have listings of all the new horror movies that were coming out, or that had just come out, and this had just come out on video. And I was looking at the premise, and all it really said was a group of characters trapped in a house start to blame one another once murders begin to occur. That's really all they said. The selling point for me was, oh, Linnea Quigley's in it.
But only for a little bit, isn't she?
And yes, she only has the cameo, and she has more clothes on than she has ever worn in any movie ever. There she is! Yay!
Wearing four
Linnea
layers.
she deserves a standing ovulation.
I am ready.
So, but yeah, they were very surprised and happy when her headshot was given to them.
Okay, yeah.
Because they were like, she wants to do it. Okay, she's in. They didn't even ask her to read or anything. Because they were fans of her.
Well, she probably came with her own clothes. Just like this, probably took them half an hour all up.
Coconut, you must be Kira.
I don't know. This was shot in Omaha, Nebraska. Because that's where the investor was from. And that the house that they shoot, or that's it's shot in, belonged to, I think, the investor's friend.
Yeah.
And they really didn't even change anything.
Did they need to add the shutters?
I think so. Yeah. Because and they were really flimsy too. Because like when Garrett or Tom is trying to break the door with the lamp, you can kind of see it.
It worked.
But everything was shot in that same house except for the scenes in the attic.
Yeah.
That was shot in another house because that house didn't have an attic.
Yeah.
And here you have to look closely because you see Faceless waving from the window.
Yes. I think Donnie is quite cute.
He's okay.
like a big red Sean.
Not in
Williams
this
Scott.
particular light. No.
No. Obviously not in looks, but like he reminds me of that character, and I guess because the hair sort of is. You could lose your hand in.
Yeah. He did that himself.
It suits him, as in the role.
Well, it settles down a bit later when they're watching the movies, or when the things start to happen. And one thing I want to say too, fucking.
The faceless things remind me of a kids show we used to have here in Australia called Lift Off, where they used to have a faceless doll that was.
Yeah, you told me, and it sounded bizarre. But one thing I want to say about Tina, right there,
Sorry.
is the lipstick that she's wearing. That shade of lipstick, fucking every single girl wore that shade of
God.
lipstick in the mid to late 90s.
Makes her look like a corpse.
It's like burgundy or something. I don't know.
No, to me it looks
But I remember-
like a lilac-y.
I don't know. I don't know from lipstick. But that was a huge, huge thing. That color. Even in the later seasons of Seinfeld, Elaine wears it a lot.
Oh, yep. Yes, I remember that now.
So Amy Weber is our lead here. And I think she does quite well. She is a Renaissance woman. She's also a singer. She did a song called "Let It Rain" that charted here briefly, but more overseas. It's like, very basic,
Like
club
E17.
music. I don't know what that is.
You don't know the band E17?
I do not, but I was listening to it earlier, and it's very auto-tuned.
Okay.
But yeah, she also did some stuff for the WWE. She was a vixen or something. I don't know
Like
what
a
that
fighter.
is.
Or did she like lift up a card or something?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no. No, I think she did fight. I think she did. But she's 5'2", and she weighs like 100 pounds. So, and she's also a model, or was a model. I haven't really seen her. She's been in a lot of TV shows. She's been. She was on Saved by the Bell and another one of those morning shows that used to come on NBC.
Yeah.
She was also on the show USA High.
Sweet Valley
briefly.
High? No, I don't know.
No, it was called USA High.
Although Erica, she sort of reminds me of the girl who played like Alex Mack or the sister from 10 Things I Hate About You.
The
like,
blonde?
Yeah.
The blonde reminds you of Alex Mack.
Or at least the sister from 10 Things I Hate About You. And she
I've
she
never
played
seen
Alyssa
it.
from Third Rock from the Sun.
Everybody reminds you of someone.
That's how my brain works. This is how you remind me
Okay, settle.
of terrible songs. Oh, God. This seems so... I would never do this.
No, especially not with people I've never met
Yeah,
before.
exactly.
It's not how you get acquainted. But one thing I wanted to say about Erica is I think her character is very they had a very specific vision for what her character is, and that vision is consistent throughout the whole movie because she is such a fucking narcissist.
Yeah.
All she does is talk about herself. She brings 6 of her fucking movies and expects them all to watch them all back to back to back, and brings the mask that she wore in the movies. But yeah, that was the role. That was the character, and they were very, very happy with her performance.
Yeah.
And I think this was the first professional thing that she ever did.
Okay. I thought she was good in it. Although, on the Wikipedia page, she, nearly all the other cast members don't get a link, you know. It's only Amy,
No,
and
I don't-
Faceless, and...
Yeah, Ilya something, I can't remember his name.
Volok.
He's done a lot of stuff. Volok. Yeah, he was in Air Force One.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of big movies.
Yeah.
They said he was very
Charming.
well, he was very nice, but he was also very intimidating because he's very large Ukrainian.
Yes.
I remember he had a walk-on role in like Suddenly Susan,
Okay.
or some 90s sitcom that I used to watch.
Veronica's Closet. Actually, that's who the comedian... Sorry, I shouldn't say it. His hair is very 90s.
Well, this movie is very 90s.
Yes. Did the directors go on to do other things?
No, unfortunately they did not.
Okay.
And it is not for lack of trying. They did try to get some other stuff made, but didn't exactly work out. But they had a limited series comic book that they were able to get out, and I think they did smaller things separately, but they never made anything else.
Yeah.
And I think that had a lot to
like
do
Ashley and
with
Mary Kate.
the fact that I think that had a lot to do with the fact that really nobody saw this when it came out, at least here.
But you know, it was only like a what $500,000 budget.
500,000. Yeah, and it was shot on 35 millimeter.
I mean, I feel like it's not a. It wasn't a like they used the money well. It wasn't a waste of a film. I would just think that for the fact that they could stretch a dollar that well, they would have been re-employed. But maybe they just like doing their own scripts.
Independent,
Yeah,
stuff. One thing that I noticed about it's both this and My Little Eye, which everybody
compares it to.
has said clearly ripped this off.
Yes,
I remember the first time I saw this, that scared the fuck
that
out
was
of
a
me.
good yeah.
But yeah, but it's also in My Little Eye, where the people in the house have access to television and music, which like on the Real World and all these other reality houses where people are in houses, they don't watch TV, they don't listen to music because they don't want to pay the rights for anything, and plus they don't want them to watch TV or listen to music, they want them to fight with each other. So, but this was not supposed to be a reality show, this was supposed to be
A movie. Yes, I remember we had a reality show in Australia that was I think it was sort of like to do with the Real World, but it was called The House from Hell, and it was just like some people were in a house. But I remember the main thing one of the people used to do in that, he used to light up his farts, and that was the big thing he'd keep doing.
That sounds like something Puck would do.
Except I feel like they could leave. You know, like it wasn't like a Big Brother situation where they were stuck. They could go out and about and then just.
I don't really think that in this one they don't have any rules per se.
Yeah.
I don't think they're not supposed to. Well, all the cameras are in the house, but so they're not. I guess they're probably meant to stay in, but they're not really given any rules. They're given rules in My Little Eye, but also what is said to have ripped this off is Halloween Resurrection.
And I hated that.
And I don't really think they took that as a compliment.
No.
But My Little Eye is very similar.
Yeah. When I saw the title and I looked it up and I recognized the cover art. It was back when I was not watching horror movies based on if it was reality TV based and that type of stuff, where kind of like the or like the found footage type of thing. So that was probably why I never gave it a shot back in the day.
Well, these kinds of movies weren't coming out at this time. This was 99.
No, I know. Yeah.
Which cover did you see, by the way?
I'm not sure. It was I just remember the word actually. It was where it had like the O in the middle was sort of like had a cutout around it or something like that. You can't. It's not the one on the Wikipedia page, but another one. Anyway.
Which one is on the Wikipedia page?
The one on the Wikipedia page is the faceless guy looking over a house, and it's got the definition of Kolobos.
With the snow. That's the one I prefer. Yeah. That was the overseas one, the European one. This movie has a lot of different covers. And then when it was released by the Arrow for the Blu-ray, they made two more. But the one that we got was a stock image.
Yeah.
And it was basically just like a very. It was an illustration of a very vampiric looking woman. And behind her was like some kind of monster or something. It made no sense and did not go with the movie. And I know it's a stock image because a few years, maybe 10 years after this came out, someone I knew went to get his hair cut, and in the salon they had one of those books with all the different styles in it, and that was the cover of one of the books.
See, I feel like I've seen that picture as well, but it reminded me of Silent Night, Deadly Night 3. Like the front cover of that.
I'm hogging the spotlight. Kira, I hear you're an artist.
One thing too about Kira's drawings is
You are.
they were done well. Okay, Todd and Daniel, first-time filmmakers, they didn't know they were supposed to make copies of the images.
Yes.
They were just given a sketchbook with all these pictures to use, and they cut them, they ripped them out of the book, and they like spattered blood all over them and shit. And yeah, I don't know what the artist's reaction was because I didn't say it, but it was I think it was the costume. I think it was the costume designer or something. It's like, you're not supposed to do that.
Well, rookie
So
mistake.
yeah, rookie mistake.
Oh my god.
Narcissist Erica here. Would you draw me?
Yes.
Oh my god. Now, this had to have some reshoots done because they had a 100-page script and they shot everything, but when they saw the rough assembly, the movie ran 63 minutes.
That's amazing. What was written on the pages?
I don't.
How could you fill
Well,
out
it had a
100
different.
pages?
I don't know. Well, it had a different ending. Linnea comes back. Because I think it was. I think it ends similarly in that they can't find the house or the victims, and it's all that stuff in the final moments of the hospital before she leaves. And then it takes place at an art gallery. And Linnea's there, and she introduces Kira to somebody who wants to buy one of her paintings. And Kira excuses herself, and she goes into the restroom and starts cutting her face. So that was supposed to show right there that she really was crazy.
Yeah.
But I think that the ending that they have now is much stronger because it's a lot of people don't like it. It kind of has that same effect that High Tension has, where it's kind of polarizing.
Yeah.
Because it's not really spoon-fed to you. But it's a bit of a mindfuck ending, and that's why I like it, because it's not
I had to sort
straightforward.
of read what the intention of the ending was to understand what the ending was. Yeah.
You don't understand.
So this is. No, just looking at it, I was like,
well-
so has it happened or not happened? And the suggestion is that it's something that she would like to make happen. So this
Yes.
is sort of in her head, and then
That
she
is
starts
that's it.
to plan it once she's out.
Well, the doctor was correct. She is a cutter.
Yes.
And when she confronts the doctor and she says, why I did this to my wrist, why not to my face to get attention? That's exactly why she did it. And that whole story that she told was to cover up that she was a cutter.
Yeah.
But also she's very, very unbalanced.
Well,
and
the fact that just that beginning sequence, if she's cut up her face, why then go out onto the street?
I don't know where she had come from. That what her past is, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think that when she's on the street, and by the way, that Jeep that hits her, that was Daniel's
Okay.
Jeep.
Yeah,
And he could not
assumed.
get that stage blood off.
Oh, really?
So yeah, and then when you see Tom, the vision of Tom saying, "Are you going to tell him?"
Yeah.
That was like her trying to make up some reason as to why
Yeah.
she was the way she was, because like it was supposed to be the aftermath of like her escaping the house and escaping Faceless.
Yeah.
But really she had just cut herself and come from, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
have
that's
no
what
idea.
I was saying. The unbalancedness of I can there's one thing to cut yourself, but then the other thing is to leave your house bloody. Or wherever you
Or
are
maybe
to do
she
the
cut
cuts.
herself
Yeah, maybe
in the alley.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Because it was showing some alley scenes before we see her. Well, we see her point of view coming out onto the street.
And that alley, that was one of the reshoots, or part of the reshoots, and that alley was shot in Los Angeles, and it was really raining that night.
Yeah. I didn't actually consider
Wait,
all of these
wait. Shh. How about a nice big cup of shut the fuck up? My favorite line in the whole movie.
Yes. I could reuse that daily.
So yeah, I guess with the new ending that they for the reshoots, it was more of an explanation than the original ending at the art gallery, which they really weren't too happy with anyway.
Yeah.
And they said it actually worked out for the best. But yeah, what I always got from it was, yeah, it was something that she made up in her head, because you hear her thinking of things that had people said in the house.
Yes.
People screaming. You hear Erica screaming when she's pushed on the antlers. And by the way, one of my biggest pet peeves is when they do a callback to something that already happened in a movie, and it's always a different take. But everything that you hear is the same thing. So I was happy that they did that.
Yeah.
But I think they did that for budgetary reasons.
This is a very gory sequence.
Oh, yes.
No, but also what I liked is you sort of saw the inspiration around her house of the murders.
Yes. In the drawings and things. What was actually supposed to happen here was there was going to be a pendulum that swung out of the closet that cut her open, but they couldn't do that. They couldn't afford to do it. And then the whoever did help do the makeup, help build that catapult, And those saw blades were real.
Yeah.
And very sharp.
But in saying that, they never really touch her. Because they're
No.
very, like, zoom in close-ups.
Yes.
This is very, death by murder.
There's a moment.
Very funny.
There's a moment when they're trying to find a way out, and Gary takes his sweater off to open a door. It turns out to be a closet, and the broken light bulb pops.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know why. I don't know exactly. They didn't exactly say what happened. I don't know if they didn't film it or they cut it out. I don't know. But he tries another door, and the knob is electrified.
Oh, okay.
So that's why he took his sweater off.
Yeah,
So
'cause it was very...
if you don't know that, it doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
It was very presumptuous that he understood straight away the house might be booby-trapped.
Yeah, because he didn't see what killed Tina.
Yes.
Or what attacked her.
How could you barely alive? It's sort of one of those things where I'd rather just be dead than have my stomach split open.
Jesus Christ, we can't just leave her like this. Okay, look, you're right. Maybe towels or something. I don't know. Wrap her stomach or hold her intestines in. I don't know. Good, Tom, that's good. There's a closet upstairs.
There's a closet upstairs.
You come. Stay with me. You come with me. Yell if you see
They don't have an equal male to female ratio,
Erica's quite tall,
which they usually do.
although she's wearing boots. But
It's just the cat.
although, well, if they include the third man, the director,
No, he's not in the house though. He stays in that trailer.
no, but they find him in the house.
No, but they needed another girl. Is what I'm saying.
There's already 3 girls.
There's 2. Oh yeah, there is 3. Hold on. No, they needed another guy. They needed another guy. Because yeah, they were sharing rooms.
It's like Ark.
Wouldn't panic by maintaining rational thought. Relaxation technique.
But your roommate said
Although, what I was thinking earlier, and I forgot to say, is when Tina finds Kira's pills, I think that like if it was happening today, you'd like be more feeling safe if you found someone was on medication.
Yeah.
Tom?
Well, I mean, a lot of people have problems.
Yeah.
And this is someone who has problems, but she's got it under control. So I would
Exactly.
feel safe.
She's being
safe
treated.
knowing that she's she's exactly. She's
Like,
being
and especially
treated.
after seeing the cuts in her wrist, it's like, oh, it's good that you're that
Yeah.
you seek the help that you need, as opposed to.
I would be more frightened if I didn't find pills.
Yeah, I'd be very suspicious. Like,
Because if she didn't find pills, she probably would have found a razor in there, along with the tampons and the deodorant.
yeah, but what can you do with a Bic razor, really?
I meant a straight razor, which was what Kira used to cut her face and
Yes.
her hand and her wrists. She cut her. By the way, when she cut her wrist, she cut it like Bonnie in The Craft, vertical.
Now I'm imagining a woman shaving her legs using a straight razor. I should just put that in a movie, just for no reason.
Yeah, do that.
One of those really sharp barber knives.
Are you about done amusing yourself? This is a serious matter. You always
And
get the
that blood
giggles
stain looks
when
phallic,
everything.
really.
Tom, where the hell were you? What are you talking about?
To you, it would.
I'd be so terrible with those ink blot tests.
Stay with her. We did.
You did.
Right after I went to turn the TV off, next thing you know, Sybil here screaming her head.
I like that he called him Sybil.
You guys were charging down, and suddenly we're in Vegas. Gee, what good job.
His line delivery for some of his lines are really funny, and
Yeah.
his delivery is also really good. Unfortunately, he dies.
Yes. He looks cute
Yes,
in
yes,
his
he does.
pajamas, though.
He does look cute in his pajamas. But Gary's in his old man sweater.
And Erica's got a scarf under the whole thing. Jeez.
I
Maybe she's
know.
older than she is and she's trying to, like, hide turkey wobble.
No, I think she was just trying to be hoity-toity movie star.
Have you ever...
It kind of reminded me of
Sorry.
Creep Show, but
Oh, no, I was going to ask if you've ever encountered a dead body. That wasn't at a funeral.
no. No.
Did I ever tell you I had to drag a dead body out of a car?
Marcy can hear you. That crazy fuck's probably in the house with us right now.
Nah. You didn't say he was dead. You said he was drunk.
It's like a snuff film.
No.
Damn stars.
It's not Carl.
That was in my car. I had a drunk guy. No, I was at a cafe and then I was at a cafe with a potential. And when I say potential, it was someone I was meeting up as a friend.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. Yes. Uh-huh.
And then we were just...
Another one of your, fucking parking lot excursions. You wanton whore. Go ahead.
No, and then like suddenly some guy, like we were just drinking coffees
And then he
outside.
died. What?
And then this guy comes to us saying, "Oh, can you help? There's a guy who's had a heart attack in his car. Can you help, like, bring him out so we can like give him?
You're not supposed to move him.
Yeah, but to give him CPR.
Stop for pharmaceuticals? It'll only take a minute. Yeah, it'll only take a minute to get the
Why didn't they call
The
paramedic?
paramedics was on the phone, and so they were being instructed. Anyway, we got him out, but I could feel he was quite mushy. So I thought,
Okay, downer. Turn the page.
I felt bad for the woman who was, making every effort to bring him back. But
Okay, what part of turn the page did you not understand?
all right, they're in.
This is not.
They're in a
This
new
is
room.
not supposed. They're in a new room.
This is
yes.
a horror
This
podcast.
is
This
not-
needs to be fun.
It's not. Yes, we're supposed to be happy.
I'm the comic relief. I shouldn't be bringing dead bodies into this.
Oh, you're the comic relief. You. So I'm the straight man.
You're
so
the
to speak?
Dorothy, and I'm the Rose.
I'm the Dorothy. To your what?
Rose.
Betty
Betty White.
Rose. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that means I get to slap you with a newspaper.
Yes. Do you want the Metro section?
And I get to call you an idiot like fucking Estelle Getty. Sophia.
This is a very bad boy, Bubby.
This upset Amy. She did not like. I guess she was there when they were doing this, and she did not like it.
Oh, so
She's-
she was
'cause
watching
she-
him on set getting wrapped up.
I think so. Yeah, and she wasn't happy.
Yeah.
She was like, because it was so dangerous. He could breathe, but he couldn't breathe as much as he needed to.
Yeah, because you can't.
So they had to
stretch
do it
like
very
lungs,
quickly.
yeah. Oh, I would think even being wrapped
I'll-
up in your body, as well, would be quite restrictive.
Another thing that she was not happy about was, well, like I said, the house was furnished pretty much the way it looked when they got there. So I think that fish tank coffee table was there. I think either it was there as is, or they put something over it. I think they put something over it because the fish died because whatever they did, they blocked the oxygen. So all of a sudden, you know, they came in, the fish were dead, and Amy was not happy again.
Yeah. My friend,
and by the way, too, this was.
You go. Sorry.
What? I was just going to say, this is another thing that popped in my head was this was an 18-day shoot.
Okay.
So it's very quick.
Yeah. It didn't even clean up after they left.
Probably not.
No, I was just going to say, my friend cleaned up his fish bowl and then his fish back in there, and they all died because he used too much disinfectant.
I don't like fish.
That's why I should never clean.
Clearly. They stink.
Oh my god.
They do. I worked in the fish aisle at a fucking pet shop.
Oh, yeah. I remember our department stores used to sell fish at one stage. And you don't even like fish fingers, do you?
I don't mind fish sticks. I don't mind them. I haven't had them in a while, but they're not. It's not even fish.
It's like prawn crackers.
It's like fucking chemicals. No, I don't mind them. They're not my favorite, but they're okay.
I think it's okay.
This house had several bathrooms. It was quite large, and there was a member of the crew who had
Gastro?
an intestinal yeah, he had an issue, and whenever he used the bathroom, he had to leave something on the door because it was uninhabitable. And there was another crew member who went in unknowingly after it had been used, and according to Todd, his exact words when he came out were, "It smelled so bad in there, it hurt my feelings."
Oh my god. My sister is actually considering resigning from her work because she works in in an office that's about like the size of a garage, and it's got a toilet attached to it. And her boss has had part of his bowel removed due to a cancer, and he shits maybe 10 times a day, and it stinks the whole place out.
Oh, no.
And she's
God.
complaining, like, how would you like to have to be smelling someone's shit the whole day?
Well, hasn't he ever heard of lighting a match?
He does, he does spray, but it's sort of that. It's not enough. And she gets because sometimes he'll just leave the door open after he's left it. You know.
That's not
during, of course.
Cardinalson. Well, no, I know. By the way, did you notice that the old cover and profile picture for the podcast Facebook was from this?
Yes, I did. I thought, I've seen this before. I liked in one of I liked in one of the when I was sexually excitable in Friday the 13th, there was like one of those shower screens that was frosty and bubbly, and you could see them being intimate in there.
In which Friday the 13th
Oh,
Part
they're all the
4?
same. In one of them, I forget which one.
You like sexy shower scenes, do you? I prefer one person. I lost my train of thought. What was I going to say?
Oh, you were talking about your profile picture being from the shower.
No, I already said that part.
Okay.
Oh, I was good. I know what I was going to say. Because of the duality, with Kira talking to the girl behind in the shower,
Yeah.
and she's telling her to pick up the razor. I think that's a big hint right there that it's her.
Yeah.
There it is again.
But that happened towards the end, like when she gets home.
It's him. He's on me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yes.
No. I'm talking about when they lock her in the bathroom. The part that was the image that was from the cover from the
Yes,
Facebook.
yes. Sorry, yeah.
That whole fucking sequence is my favorite. Here, I think it's about to come up with the acid shower.
Yes, yeah.
And his face is falling off. I think it looks really good. They weren't too happy with it.
I thought it worked well.
I thought it looked really good. But they wanted more chunks of his face to fall off.
Okay.
That's why they weren't too happy. But I think it turned out really grisly.
Yeah.
And
I think that would have made it look less realistic. Whereas I think that how they've done it.
Yeah, probably. I think it was just nasty enough, and that face smash against the sink
Very American history.
it's a very mean. Well, that was supposed to be an homage to Deep Red.
Yep.
But that is very, very nasty and mean-spirited. And then when you think it's over, he breaks through the door and grabs Kira. That's why I love that whole sequence because it's unrelenting. It's got those three things back to back to back.
There's no pause for breath.
There's no break in the wall. Mm-mm. They were supposed to cover because it was a Moen shower head. They were supposed to cover
They get the logo. Yes.
the name, but they forgot. His scream is kind of girly, but I'd be screaming like a girl too if my face was melting off. I think, and that's another reason why I think this scene is so effective is because his scream is so real.
I'd be so stupid. I'd probably try washing it off with the shower.
I know.
Got the black leather gloves going.
Yeah, it's very giallo. She's got a great scream here.
I don't think I'd noticed her contact lenses.
Now you notice them?
No, I still don't notice them. I guess I just can't.
I never noticed them because I think somebody who wears contacts would notice them.
Yes.
more, and my ex did, and I never wore them. Well, I tried, but I couldn't
I feel like I
deal
feel like
with
I could
putting
notice
something
the
in my
reflection of the
eyeball.
camera more than the contact lenses.
Me out.
Now, the whole moment here with the doctor, when her eyes start to bleed and she does that weird head twitch, that was something that came out of Jacob's Ladder
Okay.
and was kind of... At this time, it really wasn't done or redone, I should say, because they fully admitted to ripping off everything that they did. They were not the Kevin Williamson type where it's like, oh, it's an homage. No, they were like, yeah, we totally ripped off Deep Red here, and we ripped off Jacob's Ladder, and I like that because you're honest.
I think,
and you're trying, and it's not really plagiarism per se if you're freely admitting to recreating something that inspired you as much as this did, and it helped. Not only did it help conceptualize the film, but it also solidified their bond as friends. So it was special to them.
no.
I think they're still friends.
Oh, nice. Well, what I was going to say is that I think that ripping off and homage are interchangeable words. I don't see them as. I just think that one sounds worse.
Heard them. I mean, Gary was
All I know is
screaming.
we came down to find Gary gone.
Well, it can. But this is gonna be another Rob Zombie bash. I don't give a fuck. But I remember,
This is a safe space.
Tina and Alex. Please, you have
well, I do a lot of Rob Zombie bashing, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. So if you don't like it, then you can lick my hairy crack. But I remember once on a message board, I pointed out the obvious about what a ripoff of Chainsaw Massacre, House of a Thousand Corpses was, and somebody responded, and in huge letters, like as huge as you can make them, somebody wrote homage.
Okay.
And I was like, really? This is an homage to you?
Homage.
Those are my message board days.
Yes.
Yeah.
have a better idea?
I don't know, but it's one thing to think something and another to actually do it.
Sounds like God, what's his fucking name from Psycho Beach Party? Sometimes. Baloney.
Charles Bush?
No.
Oh, Provolone. No, Provolone sounds so East Coast.
Yeah.
I don't
In the
think he sounds.
Doofuses.
I think he sounds more. I think he sounds more California.
The basement, are you crazy? That means we have to go to the kitchen.
We don't
This
have
guy.
much choice. If the kitchen is that booby trapped, it's gotta be the way out. You wanna stay here and ask Kira for help?
I'm surprised that in other regions this didn't have. Well, it might in if it's dubbed in other languages, but I was going to say I'm surprised this doesn't have any alternative titles.
It's also known as Haunted House.
Oh, that's true. It is, which makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
Well, Kolobos is a better title, but in saying that, I think there could have been an even better title.
Kolobos is an original title.
Yeah, it doesn't really draw me in.
You, Tom. We've already been through this.
How do I know your whole deal with
But
Well, it didn't draw me in either. Like I said, I just wanted to see it for,
But being
because
I
of Linnea
like the
Quigley.
name Killer Workout. What does that say about me?
Yes, and I like aerobicide.
Killer Workout.
Killer Workout is such a basic bitch title. It's like you're not even trying.
I am very
Neither,
trying.
I don't think they were really trying with. I don't really think they were trying with Death Spa either.
I think we have a choice. Are you with me or not?
Yeah, Tony, are you with her or not?
Are you George W.
Because if you're not
Bush?
with her, then you're against
Yes.
her. What?
She was like George W. Bush. You're either with us
Yeah.
or you're against us.
Yeah, that's right. No, I don't understand. I think if they both ran together, the chances of one of them getting hit would have been stronger. They should have just went one after another. Or tried to jump over the beam that you can clearly see.
Or I was thinking, why not like throw like some clothes and sort of set off the trap?
Or a chair or something. Or step on a chair.
I didn't do anything wrong. No, you're not there. I'm alone.
There's your profile picture.
They said she really liked recording the evil Kira.
Oh, okay, yep.
Pick it up. Pick it.
You should be.
Who was playing the woman in the tub?
There's nothing wrong with me.
I think it was just a crew member.
Nothing wrong with me.
Daniel.
That sweater though that she
I
wears
only had one.
is so 90s.
The same with Erica. I feel like my sister. Actually, it's like Drew Barrymore's sweater in Scream.
How dare you?
Even the hairstyle.
Drew did not have those bangs.
No.
Those bangs are abysmal.
Those bangs are bomb.
Mm.
Oh, I hate it.
Oh my god. I was gonna say, I'm so glad that we live in a time where nobody says things like, this is the bomb anymore. I can't believe it's like that so dates this movie when she says this house is the fucking bomb.
Interesting doors.
What?
They look like wardrobe handles.
Oh no, they were real.
Doors, yeah.
I thought that this was an homage to Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Okay.
Because Linnea gets put up on the antlers. But it's not. Because there's another movie where it's in Argento. Like I said, I'm not as well versed as I probably should be or would like to be in Argento, but it was an homage to an Argento movie. That head looks so fake.
Yeah.
They had to do this 3 times because it was very uncomfortable for her.
Yeah.
She was like, and I think you can kind of see it in her eyes. She's like genuinely terrified.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they were really pushing her toward those antlers.
It wasn't Cat of Nine Towers, was it? No. Or The Bird with the Crystal Plumage.
Perhaps.
With the one who over the back of the head.
Well, I know they love Inferno and they love Trauma.
Oh, okay. Trauma I don't see a lot of love for. I like Trauma, except for there's a sequence about anorexia that comes out of nowhere.
She went into the kitchen.
And like I said, they love Deep Red.
Yeah.
And they also love Fulci. So it's not just Argento.
I wanted to do a homage to Suspiria in one of my horrors.
Oh, they love Suspiria. Yeah, there's a lot of Suspiria in this.
Well, the music is at the beginning was very Suspiria.
Well, some of those cues are also in Phenomena.
Yes.
And they said too that when they looked at the sheet music that the composer did, the notes were changed just enough.
Oh, okay, like
so that
10, like
they wouldn't
10%.
get sued.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they used temp tracks, I think, that were just Goblin.
Yeah.
And then when they gave it to the composer to create, they were like, we want it to sound like this. So, yeah, this whole movie is a love letter to Italian horror. What do you call it? That
It was creepy.
that was weird. Yeah. This played briefly in theaters in certain territories. Oh, I know what I forgot to say too. Shit. It went straight to video here, but the first of all, the tape itself, the VHS itself was yellow.
Yes.
I don't know why. But also the cover, the front cover, it wasn't fucking what's it called, hologram. It was like that kind of it was like kind of scratchy, you know what I mean? It was like heavy image.
Okay. Like on matte.
Matte, it wasn't, but no. It kind of had like a plastic over it, but it wasn't like when you turned it the image changed.
Yes, yeah. No, I know what
It
you're
was
saying.
just,
Yeah.
it was like kind of a screen
Yeah.
ish, which I'm surprised that they shelled out the money for that when they wouldn't even get an original cover. It's like, yeah, let's spiff up this stock photo. This whole sequence was really hard for Amy because she had to do a lot of falling and she was very sick. She had a bad stomach virus.
So it must have been
when
going
they
around.
shot this. No, the guy who had those issues, that was just his thing. He had problems.
Yeah. See, I thought it was going to be that he was a co-patient with her. That's what I was thinking the ending was going to be, and that he had seen these pictures that she had drawn while they were in the house together.
I don't like that at all.
No, what?
That's so boring. Stage Fright is another movie that this was supposed to be an homage to.
Oh, I've been trying to watch that. That's with Minnie Driver.
From the early 80s?
Oh, no.
Isn't it?
It's a new one, sorry. Yeah. It's like a musical horror or something. Like, it's about these... I'll have to look it up later. But, like, I think it's these kids
No,
are like
this is an Italian
a drama
movie.
camp or something, and people start getting killed off.
Oh, that wasn't him. That wasn't even a stunt person that went into the mirror. That was just somebody who worked
Oh
on the
my
crew. They didn't have stunt people. Are you
Just
crazy?
need the people with padding.
But I'm surprised he didn't do it.
Yeah. How old is he?
As big as he is, I would have been like, just give me some kind of, because you don't even see his face hit the glass. I would have just been like, give me something protective over my face,
Maybe he's
and I'll do
expensive.
it.
And so they only just shot what
Maybe,
they needed,
yeah.
and then everything they didn't need him for, they just got other people to do.
He got kind of diva-ish during this sequence because he was really, because I think this is the most important, or that it's over now, but that whole fight sequence between him and Kira was like the most important moment for his character.
Yeah.
And he was really trying to get into that correct mindset and be very menacing, but everybody was being too loud on the set.
He was having a Christian Bale moment, was he?
I guess.
I want to sit down for a minute.
Did they find him?
Well, Detective Byers checked out the address that you gave him, and
Did they find the others?
the house belongs to an elderly couple.
The doctor, yeah, like I say, hardly anyone in the cast has got a link to anything else that they've done in Wikipedia.
It's impossible.
They checked the entire area and they couldn't find anything that matched the information that you gave me.
Well, they must have made a mistake. I know what happened.
Can clear something up. When you were young,
See, this whole right here is proof that it didn't happen,
Yeah.
ring a bell?
because nothing that she said at all checks
Been
out.
corroborated, yeah.
The word actually comes from an ancient Greek term, which when distilled into 90s
90s lingo. I
90s
can't believe
lingo,
this
baby.
is 23 years
Like
old.
the bomb.
This
What?
is 23 years old.
Yeah.
Are you saying I made this?
There's a really nice featurette on the Blu-ray, because they had a special screening for this at a small theater in England.
Okay.
And Daniel and
Todd.
Todd were there, and it was there too. I think it was for the 20th anniversary of the movie, and a lot of people hadn't seen it or had heard of it. They didn't tell them what the movie was. They just said it's a special
Yeah.
20th anniversary screening for. I don't even think they said a horror movie. So yeah, that was nice. Nice. This hasn't really found an audience, I don't think, here, which is generally the case with movies I favor. But it does have, I think it has a decent enough European audience.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lot of it has to do with all the Argento influenced stuff.
Well, definitely the Italian horror is inspired by an Italian view. So if a movie comes out that Italians can appreciate, then they'd like it, and the same with other European nations.
Like I said, this has had several different covers, and when I did this for B Movie Bonanza, and I talked about that it has different covers, a multitude of covers during my solo commentary for that, and I found a bunch of them, and I posted them because I used to write a blog to accompany every episode. And I was just thinking, they even did a Scream-esque Floating Heads cover.
Okay.
Where it's like
Home for Purim.
it's like they're all down the left side of the cover.
Yeah.
And Kira's is the only body you see. It's like from head to her stomach,
Yeah.
and everybody else is just kind of
So
neck up.
like those Native American Indian poles.
Kind of, but it was more. It's more stylized,
Yeah.
and it's not a straight line.
Oh, okay.
It's curved.
Like a blade. If I
Kind
came
of.
home to this mess, I'd be slitting throats as well.
This was Daniel's house, and he said they didn't even do anything.
Jesus.
This was just the way he fucking lived. And I think because they were on such a time crunch,
They didn't clean up.
because they didn't clean up, because they had to get more money from the investor to do these reshoots.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they didn't clean up shit. And if you notice, it was a Pepsi can
Yes.
with Pepsi covered that she dropped.
No, it sort of looked. You could definitely see it was Pepsi, and you could see the word, but I feel like they tried coloring it in with some blue or something.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
It's not like
Well, I didn't know
sitcoms
what
where
the
they put a sticker over a letter or something.
Yeah. Another one of my favorite parts is when she's looking in the mirror and she starts cutting her face, and you just hear that sound of the razor cutting into flesh, and the blood starts to pool in the sink. Very cringe.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
You like it a lot.
I do. And I liked it. I liked it.
That whiskey breath.
Oh, dirty touching all over me.
Just gonna start
Trying to
sucking
find out where that
Angela.
smell comes from. What? You always interrupt me when I get real
Going into your
into it.
monologue.
Yes.
Bring it home, Piper.
And now, the devil has come home. And we'll pray.
For the
We'll
last.
pray. For the last time. We'll pray. I pray you find Jesus.
God, stop it. Before I start slitting my face.
There's Gary's scream.
You know, my I don't know what made me think of it, but my ex's mother, she had to go into hospital for a heart surgery. I forget what, but to that point, she had been taking so much pain relief medication that when she was in hospital, and she had sort of started doctor shopping at one stage, so she was on a few different things. And when she was in hospital, they actually had to restrain her because she started detoxing.
Oh no.
So we visited her, and she was like all in cuffs.
Well, couldn't they give her something to alleviate
Oh no, well,
the
they
detox?
did, but she would start wandering around and become a bit aggressive.
They remarked, the directors, they remarked about how shiny her scars were.
Yeah, they are.
But
They're a bit
I
like
just-
a bukkake.
Oh my god. I just thought, I always assumed that it was some kind of ointment that she had put on them, like a, like what's that, that ointment
Like
that
Vaseline.
prevents, no, the ointment that prevents scars, what's that, it starts with a V.
Vaseline.
Shut up.
No, I know
No.
you can use Vaseline, like petroleum jelly.
Yeah, but
For-
Vaseline is just a lubricant. It's not. It doesn't. It's.
No, but you can use
It'll
it on
just make
scars
something
to
moist.
make it moist and not harden into a.
It's not really gonna. It's not really gonna do
Yeah.
much. It's all right. You need something
Iodine.
that has what do you call it? Fucking. If I can't think of
Steroids.
words. Not steroid. whatever.
Bee pollen.
I'd like to place an ad.
No.
I've got a scar on my thumb that never went away, and it wasn't even from a deep cut. It was a very shallow cut from a blunt plastic, and it's stayed with me since getting it.
Participants will share free lodging and a
This was one of the crew guys.
She should have
who
put
was
some balm on her
touching
lips.
hair.
You can see it's all cracked.
Well, she's not supposed to look pretty.
Well, when you've got such a zoom in, a bit of gloss wouldn't have helped. Wouldn't have hurt. So.
She was not supposed to look pretty throughout this entire movie.
No, she looked gorgeous.
Well, she can't help that she's a beautiful girl, but they didn't do anything to enhance her natural beauty, is what I'm trying to say. Now, did you watch all of the credits?
Oh, the female impersonator is Blaine Bolton. I didn't.
Well, they were kind of, I guess you could say they were forced to use a rap song for the movie because the investor had a friend who was trying to get a music career started. And they wrote a song for the movie called Face to Faceless.
Oh, okay.
And it's awful. And they didn't want to put it in the movie, so they literally put it like at the last 30 seconds after the credits. But yeah, this whole theme here is very
Which? Suspiria, yeah.
Suspiria, yeah. But yeah, in the commentary, they were laughing at this rap song because it's really bad, and it does not go with
It's
the
a
movie
rap.
at all. It's a rap. It's a rap on this Face to Faceless.
That is the worst title as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're dancing cheek to cheekless.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this theme works much better over the end title.
Take You Away by Volcanic.
That's probably one of the songs they were dancing to in the basement.
Oh, yep. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, Face to Face. It doesn't even get much like all the other stuff gets.
There it comes. And it's so 90s too.
Yeah. Black Mac. Stackman and Dime. Face to faceless. Jesus.
And it's like,
It's
fuck if it goes with the movie or not. We just got to put this song in here.
although it doesn't seem very rap. It's more like
R&B.
which makes even less sense.
Oh my god, they barely play it.
You got the
It's like
title.
15 seconds. I forgot it was that little. I don't even think they got through like the first verse.
No, they didn't even get. That was just intro that they had.
Yeah. But Todd said that he thinks he has a full version of the song somewhere. So maybe you can find it on YouTube now.
That could be our karaoke song.
Or not.
I'll do the drum bits. You can do the lyrics.
Yeah, that's right. I'd be front and center, bitch. Mm-hmm. No, we can do Almost Here.
What's that from?
Delta and Brian
Oh
McFadden.
yes, that is the song I was thinking of. Oh my god.
Okay, well that was Kolobos.
Yes.
Now, what did you think? Your second time watching it.
Enjoyed it better the second time. The first time it was fine, but I sort of sometimes I enjoy a movie better when I know where it's going, and it takes away that thought process. And and also reading into the ending helped me appreciate it a bit more. But I definitely enjoyed all of the giallo references, and I wish that it was more appreciated.
Me too. Yes, that's why like I said at the beginning of the commentary, this and Strangeland, I think, are the two most sorely overlooked, underappreciated horror movies of the 90s. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they came out right when movies like this were not being made, because everybody was trying to do Scream. Because Scream's so great.
Or
Suck my ass, Kevin Williamson. What?
Oh no, I was going to say, or maybe the audiences were sort of getting tired of the Scream knockoffs, so they were just sort of, it worked against.
No,
the
they
whole
were not.
Horror industry. Well, look
They
at
were
Cherry
not.
Falls.
No.
That sort of felt like a bit of a not a Scream inspired, but like just.
I think that's kind of Scream.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good because it's weird. Because I think that's really why I like Cherry Falls. It's a Scream clone, yes, but it's
Had its own
a
DNA,
bizarre
yeah.
movie. It doesn't follow the same template, and it didn't try to be all hip and meta
Yes.
the way Scream and a lot of the Scream clones did. It turned Scream on its head, went down its own path, did its own thing.
Yes.
And I like it. I liked it.
Lord, I'm gonna reach out of my
All the
grave
dirty
and slap you in the
touching
face.
all over me. Oh.
You can be real spastic.
Then one night, I saw him looking down at me that way. I could smell the whiskey on his breath.
I feel like we should just cut the episode. Asher going through your monologue.
We got down on our knees and prayed just for strength.
I'll stop it, Ralph.
But now, the devil has come home. And now, we're going to wrap it up. Because I have to go to my closet and pray.
I have to go to
right.
my wash closet and pray.
And pull on your foreskin. Alright, well, we are going to wrap this one up. I want to thank Tony for joining me for Kolobos.
Thank you, Brandon, for having me for Kolobos.
Alright. Well, until next time, this is Brandon Ford, wishing you all unpleasant dreams.
And I liked it.